Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? I'm making this video because I want to kind of share my idea on my camo job, how I go about painting it. I've seen some videos out there and it wasn't really what I was interested in doing, and I had kind of a different idea about doing it. So I painted my air rifle and I was really impressed with the way it came out. I was really happy. And a buddy of mine said, "Hey, that looks really good. Why don't you make a YouTube video and post it?" So here is my idea of what to do. First thing I did when I started off is I completely cleaned my rifle. I want to get all the dirt, grime, grease, fingerprints, everything off it that I could, so that way everything bonds really nice. I start off and I tape everything that I don't want painted. Sights, scope, whatever you have on there, just get it all taped up and start with there. So after that, we're going to take and we're going to paint the rifle. It's going to be a base color of brown is what I use. I like the grassy look because a lot of what we're hunting in is in wheat fields and brush. So the grass blends in really well. So next what I do is once I get it painted brown, I'm going to take and I'm going to cover it in rubber bands. Just put it through as where I think I'm going to have a grassy look to it. And then after that, we'll go from there. So when I started off with my air rifle, it was basically black, just like this shotgun is. Then what I ended up with was a paint job that looked like this. Okay, so I've taken my shotgun out to my shop and I painted it light brown. I went ahead and started putting some of the rubber bands on it and thought, well, shit, I better get it on tape. So here it is, partially with rubber banded. And when I do this, I'm going to double up the rubber bands and try and keep them as flat as I can. I want a crisscross pattern, kind of like you would see in grass. I don't really want to go straight up and down with anything. And then I'm going to continue this all throughout the whole rifle. Here's some of the supplies that I've bought. A couple bags of rubber bands. They're 3" by 1/8", and then I have 3.5" by 1/4". This is a camo paint that I've been using. It's ultra flat. I use the light tan as my base color, green as my second color, and then brown as my third, and then back to light brown to finish it off. What I want to do is wrap these rubber bands around my finger, and as I slide it on, I've got two concerns when applying the rubber bands. One, I want to put it on a piece of the rifle that hasn't been covered by another rubber band to maintain the color that it's existing at this moment. My second is, as I'm putting these rubber bands on, and the first stage is not so important, but as you get more rubber bands and more coats of paint, you're going to want to not move your existing rubber bands. Otherwise, that color that you tried to hide with the original coat is going to be removed. And then as I go through later on, I can try and fix some of the rubber bands as well. I'm hurrying a little bit to make this video faster, and then hopefully you guys have a complete understanding of what I'm doing. On the air rifle, I decided to just use one size of rubber band, and then towards the end of it I switch. So on this one I'm going to start off mix and matching the different widths of rubber bands that I have or that I'm using. Okay, so I've put on what I think is an adequate amount of rubber bands. And I brought it out here to the shop, and I'm going to put my second coat of paint on, which is going to be the green color. I'm just about ready to paint it brown, dark brown. I've put all the rubber bands on it for the green coat that I want to keep. If you like to have more color, just add more rubber bands. The more you put, the more green you're going to keep. So then, once I paint it brown, I'll add more rubber bands. And then paint it tan again because I like more tan because of the wheat fields. Here's the final application of rubber bands on the third coat of paint. Now at this stage, what I'll do is I'm going to paint it. I'm going to put a cover coat of tan paint. But I think this time with this rifle, I'm going to mix in green as well. I'm going to paint the bottom half with green and the top half with the tan. I don't like the way that looks, so I'm just going to go ahead and go back to the tan. Here it is after all the paint's dry, all the rubber bands are on, and you got all the coats of paint on that you wanted. Now we'll start cutting the rubber bands off to see what it actually turned out like. And here's what you end up with. I hope this helps you out and gives you a good idea of what a different design you can use to paint your rifles in a camo pattern. Hope you enjoyed.